Let's talk about things as if people care what we think. Let's do that.
Do that.
So the first thing is in reference to Trump supporters saying it, because you have to keep that in mind with this first thing. Like, you could read a quote and it could feel nice and, uniting and gooey, but you have to think of it from like the perspective. Anyways, Trump supporters saying that we can have different choices and still show respect, keep it real, keep it solid, unity over division. And again, in a vacuum, like, you read this and you're like, oh yeah, that's nice. Like, that's what you should do. Like, that's true. Like, whoever said this isn't wrong. The problem is when you see it as a Trump supporter saying it, like Trump, and this is what kills me over the last few years. I wonder what you guys think about this too, about people saying, like, I'm so tired of the divisiveness, and they say they're going to vote for Trump. It's like, that's where a lot of it comes from. Hello? Like, I don't think we can say all of it. We can discuss how much it comes, but yeah, this is tough when it comes from a Trump supporter because the person they're supporting doesn't exhibit this at all. So I hope I'm wrong. But, yeah. Any thoughts at all?
So it does feel at best insincere. I mean,
Right.
you don't want to lump everybody into one fucking basket, but I feel like if you're supporting Trump at this point, like, you should have to wear the baggage of what the last 4 years of his administration was. So, I don't know. I mean, obviously unity is something you can just go, oh yeah, obviously.
Right, that's what I was saying.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, that's such an obvious thing. But when you take it into context of how things have been, right? Like, there was, what was it, 2022, some fucking nut job broke into Nancy Pelosi's house.
Yeah, we've all heard this 100 times, yeah.
Right, fucking clobbered Paul Pelosi in the head with a fucking hammer. And
terrible.
I feel like you would find that most average voters would have zero fucking clue that happened. So this is the husband of the Democratic leader of the House at the time, who got fucking beat in the head with a hammer because of conspiracy theories spread online that are just sort of part and parcel of everyday life as a conservative who is online.
Right.
Because to them it was I don't even remember what the rationale was. It was like Paul Pelosi had some gay lover, and this was some like homosexual dispute at 2 a.m. and I don't know. It was just like they just made a fucking clown show of what was obviously a very serious thing.
And that's that's the point. Like, the same people that say this need to exhibit that behavior, but we don't live in those times, right? We just don't. We don't.
I just sentimentally, I agree with the statement, and like I will accept the fact that Trump is the president of the U.S. from 24 to 28. And that is what we chose. But to get upset about the rhetoric at this point just seems so fucking disingenuous as a Trump supporter. Because it's never been nice. Like,
yeah, I know. I don't.
It's courtesy. Like, it's never been that way.
The people.
Why would you expect that?
Right. The people that pay the most attention are so online that even when they win, they still have to get back online and like keep. Like, you see what I'm saying? It's like just a disease, bro. Just a disease. It's like these people constantly chase bullshit, even when they win. So, but also, that like. The Trump campaign wasn't really about policy too much anyways. So it's all about vibes and,
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, I think the part that upset me the most about all of them, 16 when Trump won, 20 when Trump lost, and now 24 when Trump won again was there is a sort of like people take relish, like they engage with the media that shows the other people sort of mourning their loss. It's just a fucking
Yeah,
spectator
it's
sport.
it's
It's like,
crazy,
oh, look at these
man.
people who are so triggered by the fact that they lost.
Right.
Like, ooh, that's just like mustard
It's
for my sandwich. Like, let's go, boy.
it's all
I love this.
it's all bad
It's
faith.
so unhealthy.
I know, dude. It's all bad faith. And again,
It
it
really
continues to come back.
is.
It continues to come back to this quote and this point. It's like the same
Yeah.
people that post this shit are the same people that are like massively divisive and can never log off. It's like, what are you doing? Like,
Chronically online. Yeah.
yeah. But
Well,
you
so
know,
that's why I just
yeah.
can't. I can't take it. And like, here's the thing too: is if
Mhm.
like if we're being real,
Mhm.
Democrats lost. They
Correct.
lost more than just the electoral. They lost the popular vote. And come January 6th,
It's
when this vote is cemented into sort of our procedures as a Congress, as a country, like nothing's gonna fucking happen. So it's just like it's kind of it's tiring to assume. It's tiring to just see the different responses and then like people still have some shit to say about, you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
I don't know. It just feels like the
It's bad
election of
faith.
Trump,
It's bad faith.
January 6th just gets all swept under the carpet. Like we're supposed to
I
just
know,
take
dude.
that
It's so
as
dumb.
like
Yep.
just a hiccup in the process. Where that was
Yeah.
that was an attempt at actually subordinating the process, at
Yeah.
like subverting what is supposed to happen.
It makes me think of
And
someone.
it just feels like a passive like approval of it
Yeah.
almost.
Because they never. Yeah.
He still hasn't
Especially when they get all uppity
conceded.
about like, dude, I saw something online the other day that was like someone who like tweeted out Kamala Harris supporters crying on election night, and they were just like making
Yeah,
fun
of
of them.
course, because it's all just.
And it's
Yeah,
like, look,
right.
if Kamala Harris supporters cry and move on, that's better than January 6th thing the government. I like,
But it's just such an odd thing for you to be at
it's
home
weird, man.
and just like slowly stroking it to a video of
Dude,
Kamala Harris
it's-
supporters crying.
It's just
And, like that's such a it's such
It's
a
tough.
weird
It's
way
tough.
to engage in your
And
politics.
people-
It's so bad faith. It's so cynical. It's so.
Mhm.
It's just gross. It's a toxic manner of like engaging with your politics.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard.
Like November 6th, the person I wanted lost, and I just carried on with my fucking day. And yeah, I'm grumpy and I'm upset, but like that's about it.
Dude, it's funny
To
too
sort of
because like
slow stroke yourself to people's misery about their chosen candidate losing just feels so cynical and gross to me. Like I just can't even.
and like there's a couple things we're way off the topic, but there's a couple things I take solace in. Accelerationism, which you were champion of early, and now it needs to be a part of my hopefulness. But also the fact that like I don't know, like Donald Trump is still Donald Trump. He's not some like surgical political know-it-all that does want to serve the purpose of power for like Christian nationalists and billionaires. I think Donald Trump is the thing that might save us from utter like garbage is the fact that Donald Trump will serve himself. And so that chaos might kind of like overthrow conservative policy in favor of Trump just liking chaos and being a complete and fucking utter crazy person. So those are the two things that I have a little hope on, you know. We'll see. Yeah, the House looks like it'll be a slim majority. The Senate is bigger than I thought it'd be, but it's a slim majority. So hopefully they cut each other's throats 90 days in and they can't do shit. But we'll see.
Is when people make politics their identity.
Yeah, it's tough. It's pretty grotesque.
Oh.
I think if you make any one thing your identity, you're weird. It's a little strange. I don't want to even hate. Like we're not hating, right? No. But
I'm hating. I'll hate.
all right, go ahead. I mean, it's fair. I'm not gonna like.
Good.
I definitely
So
lean.
this
Yeah,
to me,
yeah.
like this boils back down to the conversations we've had about informed voters. Because
Oh boy.
to me, like the bigger issue we're dealing with these days is people who think they're informed.
Sure.
And yet they've just been like fed a stream of misinformation.
Yeah.
So to me, that is a voter that is useless. They are noise.
But why does that misinformation work?
They're noise. Why? Because we live in a country where like those pipelines are allowed to exist. The government has no right to regulate them.
But we're not.
Or they can, but it's kind of antithetical to what we're supposed to
Oh, no.
believe
I
in.
agree with that. What I mean is, like, what is the driving force to believe such blatant misinformation, and or what's the driving force to vote for such misinformation? That's maybe not believe, but
it's cynicism for sure.
Well, maybe, but don't you think inflation was still sitting in people's mouths, like the price?
It's
like
a factor. Yes,
yeah, it's definitely
100%
a factor.
factor.
How much I don't know.
But when you look at like young people, and when you look at like Latino men, like young men and Latino men in particular, voting for the conservative ticket, to me, a lot of that is cynicism. It is somebody is painting you a picture of society and telling you why it's fucking awful. And it is a solicitation of their vote because of those reasons. So it's just cynicism.
Minimum wage is still $7.25, and median rent is like, I don't know. You got
$1,400.
Yeah. Well, what I was gonna say is like, how much do you need to make to even barely make ends meet with minimum median rent? There you go. There's your problem right there. Shit is not that hard. Wave a magic wand and bam. There you go. Also, let's be unity, folks. That's what we learned there. All right, the second thing.